The Nature of Our Universe. January 6, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. Remember that I started my life in love with mathematics? That's how my mind is wired. You are used to me talking about history and law and politics, but math and science are my true loves, so please indulge me and I will try to make this painless and brief. To the best of the knowledge of the top mathematicians and physicists in the world, we live in an ever-expanding morphogenic information field. What appears to be solid and have substance, doesn't. In fact, all the actual substance in the universe could be collapsed down into an object the size of a sugar cube. What this means is that everything we see and touch and assume to have substance, is in fact empty space. And what is the substance we perceive? Ordered vibrational energy, like endless variations of tones and chords on a musical scale. So the ancient Hindu Vedas are right, at a fundamental level, everything that we see and experience in this world is an illusion. And what does the Bible tell us about creation? That God spoke and by His voice created all this, that is, by the power of sound this universe was created and ordered, much like a symphony being played or a song being sung. This has been confirmed by modern mathematics and physics. Another analogy would be to think of our universe as a giant computer program, but instead of using 0 and 1, this program uses 360 variants. It is unimaginably more complex and variable than any computer or computer program we can currently conceive, and yet, it is still as simple at its core as yes and no, black and white, true and false, 1 and 0. The Earth's computer program, as set up, creates and supports what we think of and experience as life, and it does so on an eternal basis. But something happened. A lie was introduced into the system, and like a computer virus, this single falsehood, this single wrong note, began eroding the entire integrity of the program, causing glitches and altering results. Death and disease were caused by this first lie, and it began proliferating itself like any computer virus, getting embedded in various subprograms and wreaking havoc. Every time you tell a lie or believe one, you compound this problem and add to the chaos and dissonance created by lies. This is why we must all strive to discern the truth and to tell the truth and to live the truth. People can be part of the solution by being scrupulously honest, and by examining their own thinking processes. There are a number of thinking processes that people commonly use in incorrect or imbalanced ways. Recognizing these and retraining ourselves will go a long way toward improving all our lives. Relativism, the toxic false idea that there are no real standards and that our choices and what we do, don't really matter because it's all relative. This leads to indulging in perverse or unrealistic excuses for action or inaction. The classic example is thinking that we all die at some point for some reason, so murder is okay. This logic fault denies the existence of absolutes, and seeks to avoid accountability. To the extent that we discern and align ourselves with truth, we thrive. To the extent that we believe in lies and act upon them, we destroy life, our own and others. Either or exclusionary thinking is a useful tool we all use to sort things in our daily lives, but we become too dependent on it and abuse it when we apply it indiscriminately. Either or thinking naturally focuses on differences between objects or concepts, which leads us to miss similarities. For example, we notice the difference between red apples and yellow apples, and miss the fact that they are both apples. This can lead us to make errors of logic and judgment that function as falsehoods of the yellow apples aren't apples and infidels aren't people kind. Generalizing, this is our tendency to extrapolate from particular instances and experiences to form expectations, which may be true or false, but which are accepted as being true. The error results when we assume things about individuals that are generally true, without accounting for their individual nature and differences. Thus, we may say and assume that men are physically stronger than women, but if we are lazy and rely on such generalities, we fail to discern the truth that there are also very weak men and very strong women. To find the truth in any given situation, we have to evaluate individuals, not rely on generalities. Group think, this is our tendency to want to fit in and be part of a group and to adopt its values and standards without examining and testing these against our own logic and conscience. Group think at its worst leads to surrender of individual conscience. The most common example is indoctrination into a military, and accepting the idea that it is okay to kill other people so long as you are wearing one uniform and they are wearing another. This is patently ridiculous, and so is the idea of killing for Jesus, but in both cases, groupthink results in the surrender of individual conscience and logic. This same logic fault carried to extremes leads to wholesale slaughter of civilians, concentration camps, and organized butchery. Again, there is a direct tie between our ability to discern truth and our ability to choose life. It turns out that your Shinola sensor and your conscience are two exceptionally powerful tools that need to be honed razor sharp, and that the quality of your life and of life on this planet depends on your ability to discern truth and reject lies. Lazy and relativistic thinking, acting on generalities, surrender of individual conscience, unbalanced exclusionary thinking, these bad habits, many of them encouraged by indoctrination in public schools and by religions and clubs, gangs, won't preserve life on this planet, and they won't provide abundant and joyous life to you. Only the truth will set us free and give us back the fullness of life our Creator intended, so we must make it our business to seek and discern truth every day and in every situation we encounter. We must unlearn defective thinking patterns and toss out false or limiting assumptions by the busloads. We must find the courage to step out of the crippling mental boxes and middleman control systems foisted off on us by governments and religions, and when we do, we will find our Creator again. We will know the truth again. We will discover abundant life again. Help support this work by visiting www.annavonreitz.com and look for the donate button. Links to this article and more can be found in the video description box.